Hi, grade 11s. Today we'll do some revision on your grade 11 parabolas. Recall that a parabola has a shape like this, of course, a shape like that. Sometimes a shape like this, but in this case we're looking where the shape is like that or like that. And the parabola has got a turning point, which is the maximum point of the graph. Sometimes it's shaped like this, and then we'll have a minimum point. A parabola may sometimes cut the x-axis, so we may have the x-intercept, another x-intercept over there. If the graph or the equation that you are given has a turning point, it's always wise or better to start finding the equation in that format. So that's a format of finding the equation of a parabola. Or if you are given the x-intercept, to find the equation of a parabola, sometimes it's better to use that equation. Now let's check if we still remember how to do this so that we can do our own revision. Here's an example 1 and example 2. In this case, you can see that in this case I'm giving the x-intercepts. In this case I'm giving the turning point. Now the question is, can we find the equation of this graph of f? Now because it's got the x-intercepts, so what I do, I would use that equation where I've got x-intercepts. So therefore, I will say f of x is equal to, remember that y is same as f of x, so I'm writing f of x because that's f. And then say a into x minus m into x minus n. Now, recall that whenever we're trying to work out the equation of any graph, always try and find a at the last of them all. And therefore, in this case, we need to just put what is m and what is n. So in this case, I'll say f of x is equal to a is the last thing to find is x. Now, here, I've got minus 1, just plug in plus 1. So if it is minus 5, we'll put in plus 5. It's minus 3, we'll put plus 3. Caught. Now, this x, now minus n. Now, on this side here, there's positive 3, so I will put minus 3. If that was a positive 7, I'll put a minus 7. Now, what are we left with? Is to find the value of a. So how to find the value of a? If we know the x value and the y value, if I know what is y and I know what is x, I'll be able to find a. How to find it? So you use another point on the graph that you have not used. I've used that point which is on the red graph. I've used that one which is on the red graph. The point that I haven't used is this one. The coordinates of this point are x is 0 and y is minus 6. Remember, so x is 0, y is minus 6. Y is minus 6, so I put minus 6 because that is y is equals to a, and x is 0. 0 plus 1, and then 0 minus 3 because x is 0. So minus 6 is equal to your a value times 0 plus 1 is 1. 0 minus 3 is minus 3. So minus 6 is equal to a times 1 times minus 3 is minus 3a, which means that now I can divide by a minus 3 so both sides, so that a value is equal to positive 2. Now a is 2, therefore I can plug that in where I've got a over there. So therefore f of x is equal to a 2 into an x plus 1 and an x minus 3. That's it. That's the equation. But recall, sometimes they can say remove the brackets, then distribute, and then you'll be able to distribute. That's grade 9 mathematics. I think that will be easier for all of us to find. Here's another question. It says now, solve for x if f of x is less than 0. Now, if they say f of x, they mean that graph less than 0, where is it below that line? Let me that line x-axis. Where is the red thing below the pen over there? You can see it's below here, over here. So what are the x values here? The x values, they start at minus 1 to 3. And therefore, to answer that question, I can say the x is an element of at minus 1, then up to a 3. Done. Okay? Now let's look at this one. They say in this one, find the equation of g. In this one, we said we are given the coordinates of the turning point. When we are given the coordinates of the turning point, we use that equation. Let's start. Now, this is a graph of g. So I'll say g of x is equal to a into x minus p, which is squared, plus a q. Alright, that's where I start. Now, how do I use this information of the turning point? I'll plug in 1 over there. So therefore, I've got g over x is equal to a into, that is x minus p. Note, that is a positive 1. So in bracket, I say x minus 1, as we did over here on this side. If that was minus 1, inside the bracket, I put in plus 1. If that's a positive 2, in that side the bracket, I put minus 3. So that is a positive 1, inside the bracket I put minus 1. They say it's squared, and then plus q. Now this is outside the bracket, meaning that the 20 I put it as a positive 20. So this is a plus 20. If that was a minus 3, I will put a minus 3 as it is. Suppose that is easy. Now the next thing is to find the value of a, which you said is the last thing to find, as we did previously. So how do I find a? I use another point which is on the graph. I've used that. There's nothing that I know here, but I know the coordinates here. What are the coordinates here? Here the x value is 3. So x is 3 and the y value is 0. So I know x is 3, y is 0. So y is 0 is equal to a, which I don't know. X is 3 minus 1 squared, then plus 20. Remember, I'm solving for a. So 0 is equal to a. 3 minus 1, that's 2, which is squared, plus 20. So therefore 0 is equal to 2 squared is a 4. 4 times a is 4a, then plus a 20. Now I'm solving for a. Take this across. Minus 4a is equal to a 20 divided by minus 4. So a is equal to minus 5. Now I know a is minus 5. Now I'll put it back in my equation there. So therefore my equation is g of x is equal to the a value, which is said it is a minus 5 into, and then x minus 1, which is squared, plus a 20. Easy. Here is another question. Another question says, give the coordinates of b. What would be the coordinates of b? One way of finding the coordinates of b is taking the equation that is given and you equate it to 0 and then you solve it. But in this case, there's an easier way of working out the coordinates of b. Note, the a there is the turning point, which therefore means in my graph, I've got a line which is the line of symmetry like that. Okay? Line of symmetry means if I were to fold this part here over here, it means that that distance over there will be equal to a distance over there. All right? We know that the x value on this dotted line over here is 1. So I know that's 1. Therefore, the distance from 1 to a 3, that's 2 units. So the distance from 1 to the b must be 2 units. If that is 1, the distance from there to there is 1 unit. The distance from there to there will also be 1 unit to make 2 units. So what can you say is an x value there? Obviously, it's minus 1, so that the distance there is 2 units. Alright? So therefore, the x value there is minus 1. And the question was, what are the coordinates of b? So the coordinates of a b, the x value is minus 1 and the y value is a 0. Okay, now let's look at another one. Another one would be if now we've got a parabola drawn and the straight line is drawn. Okay, it's not difficult. Just put your things down and then you'll see how it goes. Once you're given an equation like that, try and put everything that you can. I know the y-intercept is 1. It means that the line, which is this, cuts at 1 over here. And in this one, g at x is equal to this. There is your y-intercept, which is minus 24. I know here I've got a minus 24. Alright? So now let's try and answer the questions. The questions are, calculate TR, meaning the length of TR. How long is it from T to R? TR is equal to, that distance is 1 unit. From there to there is 24 units. So the whole total will be 25 units. Next, calculate MN. How can I find MN? Now, where is M? M is there, N is there. So those are the x-intercepts of that graph. How do you find the x-intercepts of the graph? It's right here, x-intercepts. We know that to find the x-intercepts of the graph, we make y 0. So on this red graph, y will be 0. So there is the red graph, which is this one. The y is 0. So I'll say 0 is equal to a 2x squared minus 8x minus 24, and then I'll solve for x. So if I divide by 0 on both sides, so this is 0 is equal to x squared minus 4x minus 6. I can factorize this. So 0 is equal to x minus 6 and then x plus a 2. So therefore we get x equals a 6, or we get x equals minus 2. So those are the x-intercepts on this graph. 6. So it means that there is a 6 here, and then the 2x is equals to minus 2, and the minus 2 over there. It's right here, minus a 2. So that's minus 2 there, and that's 6. Therefore, the question was to answer, what is mn? How long is it? So we know from there to 0, that's 2 units. From there to there, it's 6 units, which means that the whole thing is 8 units. Last one. Calculate PQ if OA is 4 units. Now, OA is 4 units. Note that that distance over there is 4 units according to this. That's 4 units. Right? So I've got 4 units there. What is the question? We want to find the length of PQ. Now PQ there. How do I find that? Always look at this. It's the top graph. You subtract the bottom graph. So PQ will be the top graph. Right? The top graph, which is F. Then you subtract the bottom graph over here, which is this one of G. So therefore, PQ will be equal to F, and the F graph is this one, which is a half x plus 1. I must subtract the graph of G, which is the whole of this, the graph of G, which is 2x squared minus 8x minus 24. And you can see that to find the length of PQ, PQ will depend on what is the x value. What is x value? What is x value? We were told that if OA is 4 units, it means that we know the x value there. The x value is 4. If it was going that way, if that was 4, the x value will be negative on this side. But it's on this side, it's positive 4. So x is 4. I'll plug in a 4 there. So it will be half times a 4, then plus 1, minus a 2 times a 4, which is squared, minus 8 times a 4 minus 24. So my PQ value will be equals to half of 4 is 2. So I've got 2 plus 1 minus, there is a 2. 4 squared is 16. So this is multiplied by 16. Minus 8 times that is minus 32. So minus 24. And therefore PQ will be equals to 2 plus 1, which is 3, minus, what's the answer here? 32. 2 times 16 is 32. Minus 32 is 0. So I'm left inside as minus 24. So therefore the PQ is equal to 3. And negative will be positive 24. And therefore PQ will be because 3 plus 24 is at 27 units. That's how I will get the answer. And therefore you can try and do your own work or revision thing from this site here, www.brighterfuture.co.za, grade 8 to 11 papers, grade 11, DBE paper 1, 2015 question 6, DBE paper 1, again 2013 question 9, Eastern Cape paper 1, 2015, just do question 9. However, as I said before, the easiest way to learn this, make sure that you've got a friend or a group, and then you can discuss the questions because they can put differently. You may be confused at some stage what they are asking, but they are doable. Good luck, ladies and gentlemen.